Hello.
Hello, everyone. Hmm.
Welcome. It's Monday. It's time for the community to gather. We wanna holler at y'all.
We're
My name
puffing
is
up my
Yoli.
pillow.
Yeah, pull up a pillow, get
A
your
little
tea,
pillow.
all the good things. Hey, check it out. We are DEI Cipher, and we're excited to be with you all today.
Yeah.
Put this volume down.
Yoli, I'm sitting next to the jade plant you gave me today. It's right here. Just wanted to share it sitting here with me.
Oh, hey, Jade.
Yeah. They're doing real good. They're doing real good.
Hey, are you playing us in your background?
Am I playing us? I don't think so.
Yeah, I've got us on the crazy echo. Something with the tack. We'll figure it out.
I don't think so. Tell me if that changes anything.
I've got us in two time streams. One is the one and the other's the other. And I'm having an everything everywhere all at once moment. All right, back on track. My name is Yoli Mayaye. This is my colleague Ruth Ann Gagnon. And we are the co-founders of DEI Cipher. We are a consulting group, and our focus is centering decentralized leadership models, creating healthy, rested people who are able to access creative solutions, forwarding initiatives on transforming workspaces in terms of diversity, equity, inclusion, anti-oppression, anti-racism, all the antis, all the fours. And we're excited to share with you today how we create learning spaces and some of our pedagogy, philosophy, our theory, and how, the what and the how of how we design our learning spaces in honor of our first set of upcoming workshops that are hot on the way.
Hot to trot.
Dan, how are you arriving today?
Woo! I am great. It's been such, I was thinking a lot about this topic as we started thinking about what we wanted to talk about today in terms of embodied learning, what exhaustion. I have been running on a lot of pistons over the last month, which Yoli can attest to with just some of the things I've shared over the last month. It's been intense, just with lots of different amazing work things going on, which is so powerful. And it was like, I feel like this conversation is really timely from a seasonal perspective, from this holiday perspective, the holidays coming up for a lot of folks who are celebrating kind of traditional holidays in the US. And I definitely had this really interesting experience about embodied learning during this sort of space of so much work going on, and I think that that's a really crucial thing. I think we certainly have shared this in past community conversations. But Yoli and I have experiences of this deep need for restoration on a very regular basis. We have, we need embodied learning for ourselves. And I know for myself, I definitely, I feel like I really took away some different learnings for myself about what happened to my body during such a high activation time, how the exhaustion manifested. So I am in, I had a first weekend of restoration in quite a while. And I was like, man, I was writing in my journal, just doing all that, doing those practices, those creative practices, those daily practices that really had kind of gone to the wayside in a lot of ways, in many forms. And I was like, but yeah, today I kind of woke up and was like, whew, that was a learning, and and a transformation unto itself, even in those kind of high duress, high stress times, I felt grateful that I could kind of access some level of like observation of what was going on. And there were plenty of times where I was like, oh my gosh, like the literal chemicals and adrenaline in my body.
Like straight up, like, am I gonna make it through this project, this event, this apex output?
Yeah, like where I mean, and it was so dope, and in this, like, and I do attribute so much of, while I think it's important to share that, like, while the when we talk about restorative tools, when we talk about embodied learning, this is not, there's such a tendency in white-centered culture to think that, like, okay, well, if you just start doing these things, the stress will go away, or the panic will never happen again. And that might be, for some folks who are listening right now, that might feel really obvious, but it might also be like, we can sort of say it intellectually where we know it. But again, from an embodied perspective, it's important to know that these tools it's a constant relationship. It's a constant connection that we go back to. And I will say, it's such an interesting sort of process, even to observe, like, man, I did have 10 minutes of being like, whoa, am I going to make it? And even in those moments, I was able to also kind of be like, you know what? I think I am. I actually feel like I know I am, but that was my body talking. That wasn't here. That wasn't here. Like, that was my body. Exactly. Like, hey, I'm regulating you. There's a lot going on right now, but I am here for you. And I'm here. I've got you. Like, I've got you.
Yes.
That was super real. Yes. It was really, I mean, it was a really like, whew, like,
yes.
Body.
So you named something really important, and that is that we live in a culture, and the culture that we live in promotes this idea that you can think your stress away, that you can think your trauma away, that you can think away systems of oppression.
Oh,
now,
yeah.
Some of us have even been trying to do this, which is increasingly frustrating when we fail, because all the things I just named actually have to be brought into the body. When we have the chance to build actual tools, meaning learn something, practice it, then practice it in a controlled environment, then start practicing it in a semi-controlled environment, then just out in the environment itself. Maybe this is your work environment or your nonprofit environment where you're serving, or community organizing, also possible. And you're building the memory, you're literally building data of this experience in the body, and then comes the test. And that's what I heard you talking about.
Yeah.
Is I'm in the situation, I'm in the high power moment, I'm in the squeeze. Do I default to this overworked crazy thing responding? Or am I able to access my body-based wisdom and possibly operate from there? So this body-based wisdom might even be a new language for some of you. And so welcome, because we're so excited to expose you and initiate you and walk with you in this journey, because we need to, this is about learning. Somebody has to walk with you in the path for a little bit and support you after. Like, that's what real consulting should be. It shouldn't just be somebody comes in, like, thought bubble pet peeve. When I learned that consulting is simply paying someone to tell you back the things you told them. I remember I turned to there's the ED of this organization. I said, wait, wait, I'm sorry. I feel like the experience I just had was we said all the things to the consultant, and then all the consultant did was say them back to us. And they were like, yep, that's pretty accurate. In my mind, I was like, well, I'm not interested in investing in that, whether it's my own resources or the organization's resources or the community's resources. I am not seeing this system, whether it is for-profit or nonprofit, being helpful. Okay, off that little thought bubble and onto like our idea. Side note, we'll probably pick another time to talk about consulting, because right now we're talking about our learning approach, especially in our workshops and our retreats, but no, we want to walk with you. This not hand holding, but hand holding, because sometimes you need that sense of closeness. Like, you know what, we can fail, we can fumble, we can build the muscle memory like this, and these folks are here to help and support us do that. That's real learning. That's embodied learning as well. Okay, so back on the thought about embodied learning and what's happening in that container. So here's the thing that might be novel for you, and that is your body mind is the smartest mind that you possess. What? Am I saying that there's more than one mind in this body? Yeah, sort of, kind of, sort of. Yeah. We've got the type of mind, the one that's super overworked. That one lives up here. I'm going to name the top 3 minds. Next up is the mind that's based in the heart center. This very like emotions, compassion, feelings-based mind, very wise mind. And that mind needs could use some love and support, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
It's sort of an abused and neglected mind of the body. And it's disenfranchised in things like perfectionism, fear of failure, and toxic masculinity, for example.
Yeah.
And then we have, let's call it the gut-based mind or the body-based mind. That body-based mind is much older. It does interface with the limbic brain, our reptilian brain. And it's part of the oldest evolution of our nervous system. Like this. If we were going to talk in terms of polyvagal, then we're talking about that dorsal ventral vagal thing. And what that innervates is from your brain through the back body and into the pelvic bowl, that part of the anatomy of the body. And so when you learn how to listen, first just starting to tune in to listen to the body brain, and then learning its language, because it's constantly communicating with the rest of the body. In fact, your gut-based brain sends 30,000 more nerve impulses to the brain than the brain sends to the gut. Real talk, it's actually your body-based brain that's running the show. This brain is doing higher brain functioning. It's doing special human things. That's part of our speciality that we've evolved within the whole, beings of Earth, where we are very special. It's true, and because of the nature of society as the civilizational construct of today that we are all sort of forced to live in, we are cut off from the development of this body-based brain. So one of the things that is at the core of our learning approach, whether it's in a workshop setting, our custom program, in our retreats or summits, is we want to support you relearning how to operate from your body-based wisdom.
Yeah.
And there's a lot there. Can you imagine you're missing out on a giant bandwidth of your like strength and power and will, like raw power? What would it feel like to feel powerful? But you fuel that because you found these like fuel cells that live in your body that are magical.
Oh, and like to that end, I know, at least, from my lived experience, from folks I've worked with, from workspaces, you know, we'll probably have a whole nother conversation about sort of the derailing definition of creativity and creation. That's a whole nother conversation. But like, for the purposes of today, it's like it is absolutely imperative for your creative arisings, that superpower that you are then going to share, for you to even feel empowered to share, like this connection into this deep state body brain. And for a lot of you, this might be, you probably have heard some of the conversations around like, oh, it's the gut, and you probably have heard some statistics about how there's more nerves in the gut than there are in the, brain, some of those types of things. But like, it is absolutely essential that there is attention and coming into restoration, as another component of how, like being able to really, it's being able to really slow down this pace, but also even just slowing down the body. The other week we were talking about breath work, and it's like, and sort of all the iterations going on of breath work right now. And the reality is coming back to this very, you can, this very sort of logical part of like how this all works, like, being able to just slow down the body to allow these creative arisings, these creative solutions to surface, this power to surface, and we can talk about a whole nother conversation about what power is, and sort of, Yoli, you were talking about sort of toxic masculinity and what that relationship is to power versus actual empowerment and all these other things. But like it is absolutely vital, and then when I think about like, oh my gosh, like if you had a whole team of folks rested using those tools, using body's knowledge, and then all of that interfacing together in community, like, holy crap, like that's how things get done. That's how transformation takes place. It's this very individual experience. It's a very communal, shared experience as well. So
that's what makes it really powerful. When it can be a shared experience, because we said this a few talks ago, people are searching for a sense of belonging, including in the workplace. People don't want to feel like the workplace is this alien land that they have to armor up for when they go in. I also think it's central to the human experience that our work is fulfilling, that we have a sense of growth and connection and belonging in both what we do and the settings that we do it in. And so let's remember that it's not a wasted investment to build the team to address what's not working, to learn communication and conflict resolution tools, to work through the muck, to go back and heal from the trainings and retreats and seminars that you had that weren't helpful. This is all
real
possible. Possible. So I wanted to share a little rest story from today. You had shared your rest story. So I just had a little rest myself. This is the second Monday that I've been able to carve out a few hours to take myself. So I'm here in Morocco right now. And like I love body work and healing work. And I mean, I love a good spa, but not just because it's a luxury moment, because I appreciate a stylized environment that I can rest and rejuvenate in. I appreciate sensuality, experiences of the senses. I appreciate beauty. and I'm very a lot of Venus in the chart. So this is my vibe. And I'm over here in fantasy land as these folks here, they have a cultural institution for rest called the hammam. And the hammam, it's not the like high speed version that we try to replicate in America that I've been to a few times, where you walk in the steam room and you like can't see anything, and your timing is real tight and there's no spaciousness in between. But I found this lovely private hammam around the corner from where I'm staying, and I can just go in and have this solitude and spaciousness. And then, yes, I'm also getting like this, the sin scrubbed out of me, and I'm getting covered in clay, and there's smells, and get a little massage, get the kinks out. Yes to all the things. Okay, but here's the fun I wanted to get to. I need to set the scene for you, though. But I went into the hammam today, and I was like, Yuli, because last night I woke up at 3 a.m. I couldn't get back to sleep. My overthinking mind took over, and I was getting real worked up over all the things that I couldn't solve, because what on earth am I going to solve at 3 a.m. anyway? And I was trying so hard, like pull my mind. I started doing breath exercises, which of course helped. I was able to get back to sleep. So I knew I was going to go into the hammam today, and I felt like, you know what? I want to guard the space that I have. I'm going to be really focused and intentional in a way that I'm not going to go in when I'm just alone in the steam room part. I'm not going to think about things. I'm not going to try to problem solve, but I'm going to feel supported in my body. And I'm going to get in a little expanded state through some meditative practices that I regularly do. And I'm going to call in a very soft intention. And that intention is, let me be expanded and free from intent, and allow for the spontaneous organization of things to happen. Wow, you might be listening to this and that may sound a little lofty, a little new agey, a little this and that. No, it was just an exercise. It was an exercise in, can I let go of needing to fill my rest space with doing? And can I even let go of the subconscious mind desire to figure it all out? And can I be in an expanded, spacious rest space? So this is an example of active rest. Can I be in active rest and invite in spontaneous problem solving? Right now, look, I was only in the hammam for 2 hours, a blessed 2 hours, thank you. And it wasn't about like I walked out and I had clarity on everything. No, I didn't have clarity on anything. I had just had a really nice rest, and a chance to be in my body and to play a little game of like quieting the thinking mind to allow the body mind to be restored. So I don't know, maybe next week I'll have the insights to share with you on whatever arose from that process. Sometimes my part of my point here is we can initiate processes that have nothing to do, rest processes that have nothing to do with an expected outcome. We don't have to have a prescribed outcome. I'm doing this because when I come out of this meditation, I'm going to have clarity. No, you're creating the spaciousness because the clarity will emerge. That is how this body mind system is programmed. So that's my rest share for today.
Well, that's I mean, and you're hitting what I think is so you're hitting on so many crucial points about the relationship to rest are related, because what I'm also was just hearing of what you were sharing was the potential for perfectionism around restoration time, and how this is somehow going to be that, you have to have, you're going to screw it up if you don't have the exact right intention, if you don't squeeze every last drop out of your hammam experience and just get the steam and then the scrub down and then the clay and then the body, and I'm like, oh my God, that sounds awful to me. Like that just, then it's like, well, wait, like sometimes, that's just like then you're just you're just a body with nothing in it. You're just like, and that's, we don't want to be doing that side either, but also like, I just was thinking of like, I think also like for folks who might be out there being like, oh man, I just, I have such little time to do these types of things, or like, there's a little bit of this, it's really natural to almost have this like sense of urgency, and dare I say probably an unneeded sense of urgency around like, no, like I'm so exhausted. I'm so this, I'm so that. I got to squeeze every last drop out of these 2 hours. And, it's like the reality is it can feel this motor is running. That's really trying to say, yes, this is the way to get the most out of your active rest, your active restoration. But B, like, and this is definitely another conversation for another day. Like, it can be a real, we're like active restoration is moving at the speed of trust. And it can be, like even the thought of just kind of being like, I'm not prescribing a thing for me to focus on. I'm just going to let these creative risings come through. I don't even care if anything comes or doesn't come of it. I'm still valuable and I still get to have this rest, even if there isn't a reward at the end. A reward meaning there's some sort of like, oh, I figured everything out. Again, this like silver bullet.
A deliverable.
Yes, like this goal, right? This goal, and it's not that, I mean, Yoli and I have founded a diversity, equity, inclusion consulting group in 2022 with focus on very specific industries. Like we have goals. We talk about them all we talk about what we want to dream into all the time. Like we're always like, those are constant, like those are things we are absolutely iterating on, and innovating on and having those conversations between ourselves. So it's like, this isn't about being like, what, we're all good now. That's not, again, these extremes that we go through of like, it's like, no, but if you really want to have the trust of the trust of the active restoration is a real process unto itself. And really and Yoli, you said this earlier, like coming back to embodied learning, embodied experience, like that's why, again, walking with you, things like retreat space, things like workshop space, for your personal experience and for also this communal experience with other, and some hand-holding, some communal hand-holding. Yeah, like this takes this does take literal practice. I would have never said to you, I would have never even had like the full capacity to articulate this experience over the last month of being like, oh man, my body really took care of me during a pretty intense time. That isn't like, that wasn't, that's not something that like was just sort of given to me as like some young child, like that wasn't the tool. Like that was not the teaching I was born into. So, and that's not the culture that, we were born into. So I also just, want to name, like, I think there's if there is this, it can be really common and natural to be a little like, really, I don't have to, I could just go in there and just be present. Being present could be the balm.
Well, to your point, we know it's gonna take people a minute to believe us that it can be this simple. We know because we do this. But
it's
when you invite us into your teams and no, we're not going to explain what we're going to do to you to death and then try to take you on a path. No, we're going to from jump take you on this journey through even our workshop experience. So our workshop is a 4-hour introduction to how we work. And for us, we see, because our approach in appearance is so radically different, even though it's just radically simple. And so, and it's rooted in body mind wisdom, as well as many other theoretical tools. I mean, things from polyvagal theory to decolonization theory, as it is spoken and written by Indigenous people, were rooted in cultural anthropology and the true marketing and creativity processes for creative teams. And not pulling this stuff out of the ether and be like, oh, we think this is a nice idea. Let's get some crayons and pillows and, put some flute music on. This is going to be great. No, we have proven our methods in the trenches.
For sure.
And so what we bring into our workshop is we want you to come into the workshop and get a taste. And that will enable you. There will be things that you will walk away, tools for you as an individual, as a leader, as a worker bee, as a person, as a human. You will walk away with tools from our 4 domains: decolonization, restoration, creativity, and then the integration, the marketing, the messaging piece of it. You're going to walk away with direct usable tools from each of those domains, as well as a taste of our embodied learning approach.
Wow.
We want to give you, within our 4-hour workshop, we want to give you a taste of what is decolonization framework as a process. And we want to name the sucks, right? Because we've all been trying our best and we're not moving the needle. We want to name the problem. We want to do restoration practice. So you can see, okay, this is what Ruthann and Yoli mean when they're saying restoration practice. We want to do a little breath work with you. We want to do rest practice. We want to do journal reflection, like we named earlier, which brings us into this domain of creativity. And we want to show you how rest fuels your access to creativity. And then we spiral on into this final, dessert piece of, okay, we know that you work in organizations that care about their profits, their bottom lines, data, initiatives, strategic plans, goal settings, SMART goal. Is it measurable? We get it. We like it also. And so we want to take you on that little mini integration journey of how you then, when you leave our workshop, what you will be able to do is go back to your teams, to the other co-founders, co-leaders, management teams, whatever is your organization's thing, your cohorts, your comrades, and be able to say, okay, here's what DEI Cypher can help us do. Here's what I learned. Here's what I experienced. So our goal is to do relationship building with you in every facet of our services. Our workshops, they're an entry point. Hey, we want you to come on retreat with us. We want you to come to Summit. We're cooking up all the fun things, but we know that we have to build trust with you all. And so we're going to invite you we'll be hosting a monthly workshop online, 4 hours in length. Our first workshop is coming up in December 9th. And we already have the dates selected for January and February. We're just going to keep adding the dates from there. It's going to be a lovely, half-day workshop for professional development. You can get the info on our website at deicypher.com. You can sign up from there. You can always reach out to us with questions and curiosities. And we are very excited to invite you into our world, our fun, spirally cosmic world. And we want you to know that you are held in our spaces. And it is our intention that you will learn and you will grow in every interaction.
Yeah. It's, part of, I know we'll start to kind of wind down here shortly. And the one thing I want to share is that, we've really spent a lot of time even thinking and processing and reflecting on, every facet of these domains, how they interact with each other. And then also, like, I guess I'm feeling called just to name too, like, that there's a very specific reason for why, like, even Yoli and I have kind of decided to do this in collaborative spirit versus in a much more individualistic way. And not that we always see consulting being as a singular individual, but it's something we have talked a lot of, we talk about a lot, and we've talked about this over the development of DEI Cipher over the last, this has been burgeoning for a good year now, that, there has been, that has been very intentional for us, as co-founders, as collaborators, in this process, because it's also just super important to us that, the way that we work is the way we want to also, we want to really mirror the way that we work to you, and give you some of those, just give you even more ability and visuals and optics and experience of what communal collaboration looks like when forces come together, when, creative forces come together, when all these pieces come together. So sort of derailed us a little bit here, but just wanted to name a little bit of, like, it's something that, like, coming back to embodiment, we're in constant conversation of how we embody our own pedagogy, our own approach. Because we're learning all the time too, where we've been like, oh, you know what? Hold on a second. Let's kind of dissect that a little further. Like, how are we looking at restoration for each other? We've had to have conversations with each other of, like, whoa, no more Sunday calls, like, not no more forever, but it's just been like, nah, dude, we got to be real. Like, we need the rest. Or, like, what does decolonization and decentralization look like between us, for leadership purposes? Like, that's super real. And, like, we are growing, and, we all need each other here. We're all holding hands here together on, like, being like, whew, like, it is a constant state of newness, new ways. So wanted to just share that's some of the, and we also just, we're just psyched to have, like, a really dope, like, communal group of people coming together. Like, there could be really amazing, like, I always think about, like, oh my gosh, there's going to be, like, this person and this person and this person at this workshop. And I'm so excited for these people to meet each other and, like, connect more, like, stuff like that, so there's, like, that component of joy and fun that I'm like so excited about for the 9th too. That, the amount of, again, this communal growth, these connections in the sphere, that I'm just like, whew, I'm just, like, pumped about it. So yeah,
I like this tangent. Friends, we're gonna leave you with the fun spirally sphere in your imagination. Come hang out with us, be in touch. We're gonna be back next week talking about something or other. And we appreciate you supporting and watching and telling all your friends. So see you soon.
Thank you.
Bye.